Good morning, everybody. Or good morning. Wow, I'm all set tonight.
Wow.
Good evening, everybody, and welcome to Drinks and Dave's, our special Thanksgiving edition. And I think we may end up talking about food. How you
Look
doing,
at
Dave?
we got a new regular barfly. Amber's
Yeah,
back.
look at that. Amber's the first one to. That's awesome.
Right on. What is
Wow. And
whoop whoop? We need to we need to start getting more sounds for our regulars, huh?
yeah, we do. I mean, well, what would be
Amber.
a sound? What would be something for a spider sound?
I don't know. We went over that last time.
Oh
I
wait,
thought
no,
we
no,
just
no. I know, I know, no, I know the perfect spider. So when
Oh boy,
spider
here we
downloads
go.
human, this is
Don't take riches. Ah, there you go. There you go.
because that's me when a spider comes in.
Yeah.
Hello, Tig Lily. Happy Thanksgiving to you as well.
You know, we've been through the drama of us getting a new TV, right?
Mhm.
So let me just, you walk into Costco and you can get what, like a 55-inch TV for like $300 or something,
Right, but
right? That's
why?
where they start at.
But
So,
why?
well, okay, so we didn't get that one, but for $300, you're getting LCD technology. You're getting it'll stream wirelessly. You're getting a speaker system with an amplifier. The TV we got will shoot out the audio output on fiber optic cable. All this stuff, it gets shipped over from some other country for $300. Right?
Mhm.
Why does a mattress still cost $2,000?
$2,000. Where you find mattresses for $2,000? We've been looking at beds in like 8 to 10.
What?
Yeah.
You're getting the pretty black ones, right? Okay, so
Well, we
first
looked
of
at
all,
those. Yeah,
First
but
of
well,
all, right, it's just some wood and some springs and some foam, right, for thousands of dollars. So
right. Well,
that's
we looked.
nuts.
We looked at the Tempur-Pedic IQ, which is supposed to tell you your
Oh,
sleep patterns and all. And by the time we were done, it was like $10,000. I was like, no.
wait, wouldn't you know your sleep pattern by if you were asleep or not?
Well, I do.
'Cause the mattress doesn't.
Cusco.
Well,
Oh,
this
I
one probably. It sounds like this one was Bluetooth.
yeah, but see, I didn't know where you could get a Cusco mattress. I mean, is that like
Cusco.
some guy? Yeah, Cusco mattress down in Mexico or something like that. Oh,
Those
we
wouldn't
forgot.
be.
We forgot something. What are you drinking tonight?
Well, I haven't even gotten there yet.
Oh, okay, you're still
I
talking
had
about the
something on my
TVs. Okay.
mind.
Well, we kind of
Well,
sideswiped into beds. Let's go back to TVs.
Well, no, that was it. Is that I
Oh,
wanted to why furniture for some wood and some foam and some fabric is insane when you can get like the technology right to make little LCDs. How many thousand? I mean, I just anyway.
is
Oh,
dirt cheap.
here
Remember
you go.
my
Here,
remember my
because
remember my better half worked her entire life in the electronics industry. The TVs probably cost like $43.50 to make.
right. But how right? So how much could a mattress cost to make? The
Sure.
springs have got to be 5 cents a piece, and they're not made out of like
It's
tungsten.
the space age material.
Oh,
See, that's all
so
they have to do.
you brought up you're looking at the black ones, which I also find funny because some of them are just gorgeous.
Hmm.
But
You're going to cover
why?
them with
You're
sheets.
good, right? Right. Everything should just be plain old white. Well, no, everything should be like beige, right? Because you don't want it to look dirty.
Right.
It should be anyway. All
Well,
right.
it's funny talking about beds though. The best bed that I ever slept on was at a hotel in Vegas. And oh my lord, it was the best bed
Mm,
ever. And I guess they do sell them.
mhm.
Um, but they're like $3,000. Now, granted, the hotel gets them for probably $42.50, but
Yeah.
they do get them. So, well, tell us a little bit more. Did you get the big 90-inch
No, I
monster
didn't
screen?
get 90. What did we get? 65 inch. It's not that big. I told you I kind of shot myself in the foot because I didn't want to go huge because I would have gotten in trouble. So we went a few inches. We had a 60-inch. It was starting to go out. We got a 65-inch. I thought, oh, a little bit bigger. Looks the same damn size. Whatever. But it's
Well,
4K. It works. It's beautiful
but
picture.
see, remember that movie? What was it? Not Beverly Hills. else, Kyle. Lethal Weapon, where Joe Pesci says they screw you in the drive-thru. It's the same thing with TVs, because what they do is they say, we have got a 65-inch TV. But what they do is diagonally it's the same, and what they do is they just take the border, the outside border, and shrink it. And so it makes it look like it's larger, and it's the same damn thing.
Yeah. Anyway, the weird thing is that back when, before we got to gargantuan size, right? It was like, ooh, I got a 32-inch. And if you got up to like when you brought it home, it looked huge. And within a week, it just looked, you were just used to it, right? It was like no big deal. And so probably the same thing with these.
Well, and I remember when the big screen TVs first came out, and I think we talked about this before, we got a 55-inch rear projection.
Yeah.
Basically, and at the time they were like $5,000. That same TV today, they'd have to pay you $20 to take it away.
Right. Well, in 55-inch, that's what we're saying, $300.
Exactly.
Hanging on your wall.
Yeah. So,
all right.
Okay. So, what are you drinking and what are you smoking?
Ardbeg. Oh, I can't. You get on me. I don't have a green screen because I'm outside. I can't even show you. So there you go.
There you go.
Ardbeg Scorch.
That'll keep you warm in the.
This will give you hair. This is they really scorch. They burn the inside of the barrel even more. Get nice deep crevices for the.
So smoke. Is it more smoky than Laphroaig?
No, Laphroaig is very distinct, right? Your wife knows it's got that Band-Aid iodine. Where everybody says, "Who in the heck?"
And according to her, kitty litter. Now I don't even want to know how she knows what kitty litter tastes like, but that's
things happen.
And what do you drink? What are you smoking?
Romeo y Julieta. Yeah, what you got going on?
I'm actually smoking. I'm actually smoking a Metropolitan Host Maduro. As you know, this is kind of the official brand of the Drinks and Dave show, but this is the Maduro version. It's just a fantastic cigar. And I'm actually drinking a beer tonight, but it is a low-carb beer. And I did not know. I love Blue Moon, but I could never buy it because it has too many carbs. But this is 2.6 carbs, and it's got a tangerine peel, citrusy highlight to it. So that's a nice, beautiful, sweet beer. It's a nice wheat beer.
Alrighty.
So tonight we're going to talk about Thanksgiving, what we're thankful for, what kind of traditions and non-traditions that people have for their Thanksgiving.
I thought we were gonna. I did lots of research. I thought we were gonna talk about the history of it.
No, we can. We can. I mean, I can do it real easy. Ship, landed, Indians, howdy, meal. Then we put them all on reservations. Done.
Next, let's talk about food.
So anybody in the lounge that has a specific, because remember, you guys are the co-hosts of the show, and anything.
Okay, well, you need to. I think it needs to be other than, because, right? If you're gonna say we have turkey and ham and potatoes and all that stuff, that's
Well, but the thing is that goes to that speaks to the memories. Now, to me, just one quick Thanksgiving memory that's important to me is the first time I tasted Sharon's mom's stuffing.
Yeah,
it is the most amazing stuffing. In fact, you could take all the other stuff away and just have the stuffing, and it would be great. But we do the old traditional thing that I know now is not considered politically correct. We stuff the turkey, because I'm telling you, that's the way the stuffing is.
And that's not that it's not politically correct. It's just you could die. I mean,
okay. You see this.
Well,
you see this
from that or food poisoning?
Yeah, but I think if you prepare the turkey right,
you got a point. I mean, for how long have people been doing that? And it's just like the whole, you're really not supposed to eat raw cookie dough because the eggs aren't cooked. But ain't nobody died from cookie. Well, I take that back. Somebody will probably post an article saying this dude died from cookie dough. But
so that that right there, the stuffing, and Sharon's sister used to make a broccoli rice cheese casserole. Just little tiny things. And then Sharon, apparently, I'm not going to read that.
German?
I'm not going to read that. It just
cook off.
Yeah,
you have the cook off Thanksgiving.
Well, you could say it the other way, but that never mind. But no, Sharon and I, we have specific feelings on how deviled eggs are supposed to be made. So one year,
Okay, wait. You mentioned this dressing. I want to know what was in the, because I wouldn't say traditional, but your base level of dressing is
okay,
the bread and some probably like chicken stock or turkey, whatever, and some
hmm
herbs, right? That's like the base. I'm
well,
sure this had more to it than that.
yes, I'll let Tig Lily um, chime in, but as far as I know, it's obviously the bread, broth, sage, sausage. That is to me what really makes it, and then just tons of herbs and spices, and literally while the cookie, that's a pre-show thing you and I were talking about. While the turkey was cooking, you would sneak in while when somebody would take the turkey out to baste. That was when you pounced, and that crispy edge, you just peel
Oh,
that
yeah,
crispy
yeah,
edge
yeah.
off. Ah, in fact, we've done that before where we go to like this year we're going to friend's house to celebrate Thanksgiving, which always stinks because you don't have the leftovers.
You got to take
So
Tupperware with you.
right, that's a good
That's the
point.
trick. Yeah.
But a lot of people, and I'm sorry if this offends anybody, I'm not into the dry cornbread stuffings. I just can't do it.
No.
I can't do it.
Well, that's the
So
tough
we'll
part
make the
about it
stuffing.
being what?
We'll make the stuffing, just the stuffing.
Okay.
But now that I'm diabetic, it's like you can't have just one spoon. Like Sharon will say, "Oh, you could have just a little tiny plate full." No, no, no. Bring the wheelbarrow because I'm eating the whole thing.
Yeah. I think yeah, my mom likes to experiment with certain things, especially the stuffing. So we have Amber does the
Mm-hmm.
oysters. That's super traditional. I've never had
Good
oysters. I can't
stuff.
now. I'm allergic to shellfish now, but back when I wasn't, I never had. I don't think
Mm-hmm.
I ever had that. And
Oh, so
then,
here she did post that.
oh, so it's basically just probably just the perfect blend of spices then, because that's not
Mm-hmm.
unusual
Yeah, it's just
type
it's
of
just I
ingredients.
think it's just the memory of the whole family getting together, and people sitting outside waiting for the turkey because I would always be the one that would slice the turkey up and stuff like that. So that's a good. Oh, okay. White meat or dark meat in the turkey?
Well,
There's
let
a
me tell
question.
you, Dave.
Okay.
Historically, it's been dark because that's what's been moist, right?
Mm-hmm.
And the breasts are dried out. But then once you learned to brine, that made a world of difference. And if you have juicy white meat, that's a winner.
Really?
Yeah.
Hmm.
If you
That's
cut into your breast meat when you're doing your slices and juices are running out,
mm-hmm.
oh,
Yeah. See, that I'll have to ponder that because I've always liked. Well, you got to have a turkey leg. You got to. I mean, that's just you got to have the turkey leg, and then you mix it all up and all.
I don't know. Okay, Pete, here he comes. Here you go, Mr. Sophisticated. What did we got? Palmetto Moonshine Bootlegger Proof. Oh, that's what
Wow.
he's drinking. I didn't read the first part of it, and I thought he was posting his stuffing recipe.
Boy, you'd need
Corn?
two bites of that.
What? The Bootlegger Proof Corn Cane.
If you look at the
Man.
backdrop, if you look at our backdrop, why do
Yeah.
I have a feeling that P Beats bar
It looks like this.
looks like that? Because he has some of the most unique whiskeys and drinks.
And he's into the detail. It's not just I'm drinking moonshine or I'm drinking
Right,
this.
right, exactly.
He
So
sets the scene for you. Yeah.
okay, so now obviously, your wife is from a Persian background, and obviously you're white bread like the rest of us. And so, what kind of Thanksgiving? It doesn't have to necessarily
Dave,
be food.
I'm off white. I've been out in the sun. I'm off
I'm not
white.
gonna, so, what kind of traditional? I mean, or what kind of Thanksgiving food that just sticks in your brain, or memories? One last thing I'll say is Thanksgiving ruined pumpkin pie for me. I just can't do it.
What?
Yeah, I just can't do it. You know that picture that you see on Facebook where it shows this little tiny square of pumpkin pie and it's completely covered with a mound
Well,
of.
yes. Right.
That's the only way I can eat pumpkin pie.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, pumpkin pie, that's a whole topic there because I would say, unless you burnt it, it pretty much all tastes the same.
Right.
There's not like high end pumpkin pie and low end pumpkin pie. It's just pie filling, right? So you have to are you Cool Whip or homemade whoop topping?
Well, before I was diabetic, it was Cool Whip all day long because it's easy, it's
Oh,
fast.
have you had once I learned how to make my own
Exactly.
vanilla, you pour in the vanilla and you're making your own whipped cream.
I actually
That's
I take we do it now is I take the vanilla flavored stevia and put it in heavy whipping cream, and it's
oh,
completely keto, no carbs, no nothing, and it tastes just as good.
dude. Wow. Okay, now this is not right. Come
Well,
on,
because
Cool Whip.
she likes the ready whip because, and I can tell you why.
That doesn't count for either one.
Well, but the thing is, there's a reason why. Because in the wee hours of the morning,
Yeah.
you'll go out and you'll hear this, and somebody will be in the kitchen going, yeah, that's. So, what about memories? And we'll get to PB's Low Country Sweet Potato Spoon Bread. Oh my God, that sounds good. Um, any memories or food memories or stuff like that?
We were always traditional. It's funny. The only food memory that I can think of is that, one year my dad said, we always do turkey. I'm going to do a salmon on the barbecue instead of a turkey this time. Because I think that was before brining hit the scene, and it was the traditional, the white meat's a little bit dry and all
Mm-hmm.
this. So he was like, uh, I'm gonna do something different. And it was good, but it wasn't Thanksgiving. Even if the turkey's not good, there's something. It's like Christmas without a Christmas tree or whatever. You gotta
Well,
have it.
it's that Norman Rockwell moment.
Yeah.
So obviously, from your better half, agreed. No, thank you to Cool Whip.
And I haven't had that for, like I said, since I've learned to make my own. But you know, you got it. It's good though. Cool Whip is good.
It is.
And you open it up. You're the first one there, so you take the first spoonful, and that's
Mhm.
just you taste
If you,
test yourself.
did you ever have the chocolate Cool Whip? Oh, it's like a
You can.
frosty.
That's like a mousse, isn't it?
It's like a frosty.
All by
It's like a
itself.
Wendy's frosty. Yeah.
It's yeah. She's not. She's anti Cool Whip apparently.
Hey, Tathra, how are you, buddy?
Good to see you. Good to see you. So I would say my biggest memory is just like you were saying, when the whole family's all together. So it was when I'm older and had my own kids and could bring them over, and grandpa and grandma are cooking the big spread for the bigger family, and then you have that, you know, the big table with everything laid out and the bottles of wine and all the old side. I mean, that's just, you know,
Okay,
and
here is a controversial subject. Okay, cranberry sauce in the can, or cranberry sauce that's made like a marmalade. The true with the orange rind and stuff like that.
neither
I
one.
like. I know. I like the can. I'm sorry. I like the gel.
Do
I
you?
like it. Yes, I do.
Do you?
Because
Yeah,
because at 9 o'clock at night, that's the other tradition. At 9 o'clock at night, Sharon's brother, no matter where he was at, we would call each other and we would have a turkey sandwich. And the way I make a turkey sandwich is a mayonnaise, not Miracle Whip, mayonnaise on both sides, then some dark meat, a little bit of white meat, a layer of stuffing, and a layer of cranberry sauce. And
yeah, buddy.
the stuff in the can is real easy because you can slice it.
Yeah. So, which is better, that sandwich or the meal that you had earlier in the day?
Ooh,
Right?
I like the sandwich.
Right? I mean, there's the whole like, tradition and sitting around and stuff, but just eating the whole Thanksgiving in one bite.
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
Well, because when you think about it, when you're eating your Thanksgiving meal, unless you're
Mm.
really, really anal, um, I was just going to put that out. Unless you're really, really anal, you kind of mix everything together. You really do. I mean, because you've got one plate, you pile it with different things, and as much as you try to sell it, separate the green beans with the onions and the sweet potatoes with the marshmallows on top, you do all that. But here's an interesting thing: wine and orange with cranberries.
This sounds good. Yeah. So my mom would make her own cranberry. I was never really into cranberry. I don't, you know, it's a little too tangy for me. But some of the homemade stuff is delicious with the if you're eating it with the turkey.
Well, and one thing that we started doing is, we always used to have the candied yams. So you take the yams from the can, or if you have real ones, you peel them, you slice them up, and you put them in a pot, and then you put the brown sugar and the cinnamon and all that, and then at the very end, you put a layer of marshmallows on top. But then we learned how to make and this comes from the Louisiana side. We learned how to make a sweet potato casserole. So you mash up the sweet potatoes or the yams. You put walnuts, brown sugar, cinnamon, and then and a little bit of flour so it binds in an egg, and it makes like a casserole. And then you put the marshmallows on top. Oh, it's so
Can
good.
I argue that if no, so there's difference between yams and sweet potatoes, right? Technically.
Mhm. I think one of them's a berry.
All right, that's a flashback to a different conversation. But I would argue that if these things were so darn good, you wouldn't have to put so much crap all over them for people to eat them.
We've had that discussion in the Eisenhuth household, and I'm with you. I'm with you. And you know what? I used to like sweet potatoes, but then just like pumpkin spice, everybody went absolutely crazy over sweet potato fries. Everybody went nuts. And then so it just ruined it for me. It's like, it's like no.
All right, so regular potatoes,
Mm-hmm.
because
Verboten.
well now, but what's your favorite? I like, and I've learned this, from a few cooking shows, is you gotta add to your to your mashed potatoes, heavy cream and gobs of butter, all mixed in together before you serve them.
Well, we used to do potatoes the old-fashioned way, mash them with the masher and stuff like that. Then, quite frankly, we find it so much easier to buy a box
No,
of
Dave.
freeze-dried potatoes,
Oh,
and you nuke them, and then you put the heavy cream, and and there's got to be pepper, and like I said, a couple of sticks of butter. It's convenience.
good God. I like the
See,
little chunks. I like the
I
little
think
if you don't.
I really think Pantea and Tig Lily are sisters because they agree with almost everything.
So let me tell you, Dave, I'm going to tell you a secret just between you and me.
Mm-hmm.
I like box stuffing. Stovetop
Oh, I
stuffing.
do. Oh, of course.
That'll do it for me. Yeah.
Yeah, of course.
I don't need the homemade stuff. Stovetop is.
Well, yeah, I mean, I can eat it, but I mean, if she's going to make her mom's recipe, then it's good. So, with that being said, I'm from a mixed race parenting. My dad was, from Pennsylvania and German, and my mom was from Puerto Rico. So, even though Puerto Rico is a Commonwealth of the United States, it's funny. And when I was growing up, we would have turkey and stuffing, all the traditional stuff for my dad, but my mom would also make what they call arroz con pollo, which is chicken and rice, and then tostones, which are we talked about this before, the plantains. So now that from the Persian side, and I know we talked about this, I know it's not really a traditional Thanksgiving, but are there, you said earlier before the show that there's a special rice that Pantea's parents make, correct?
Yeah, she's gonna have to post in the chat what's in the rice, because Persians have rice like every meal, and the basic rice is just a white fluffy rice with the the crispy on the bottom. We talk about, so you flip it over and you got the tahdig, the crispy rice on the bottom, or sometimes they'll do potatoes or bread or whatever to be crispy. But then for special rices, they'll add in certain things. So she said that there's one rice, and she'll have to put in the chat and we'll post it up, that they only make Thanksgiving. I thought she said one other time with mushrooms.
Oh, rice and mushrooms together, that's like the perfect combination.
Yeah. So we'll see. They're gonna bring it over Thursday. I don't think I've had it. We haven't been a big unless we go up, to my parents' house for Thanksgiving. Thanksgiving hasn't been the big holiday. I'm the Christmas guy, which I'm sure will do it for Christmas.
Look at this.
All right, fancy pants.
Cajun
bacon wrapped turkey. So that brings a whole, that's got to be gorgeous. But I
Yes.
do have to question things like this because from what I've learned, the whole basting a turkey thing has been disproven because all you're doing is pouring juices down the outside that roll right off of the turkey into the bottom. Like it doesn't help hydrate your turkey at all.
Mm-hmm.
So I bet this would make like the skin bacony flavor and stuff like that. But it wouldn't change the taste of the turkey, right?
I don't know.
This is like a
You get that.
presentation, which is all right.
Well, but the bacon fat would probably, it might make the, like, we were talking before the show about the white meat being very, very moist. It might, the bacon fat as it drips through might make that.
No, but it's not going to soak in.
No,
That's
that's interesting.
Yeah.
Now, are there side dishes that you remember or that you have to have on a Thanksgiving?
No, other than potatoes and stuffing, I don't care what else there is, and that's the thing is I'm completely fine without green bean casserole with the mushroom soup. That does nothing for me.
Oh, mushroom soup and green beans and the onions crispy on top. Oh my lord, that's good stuff.
All right, look at PB. He's adding bacon and onion gravy.
Ooh.
All right, now we're talking that if you had a good gravy, again, because I don't usually put gravy on stuff because you traditionally just have had the brown gravy made with the drippings or just out of the
You guys don't put the giblets in the gravy?
I don't think so.
Oh, giblet gravy is wonderful.
Oh, here you go. Official. Boom.
You've never had a good one.
Oh, look, they're made for each other. Here you
Oh,
go. There's Spider. There you go.
Well, this is interesting because I can tell you right now there's probably going to be a phone call made by a certain individual to another certain individual. Mulberries in that rice.
Berries.
No, well, we've got a couple of mulberry trees, and I think that's something that she's going to definitely want.
I've never had a mulberry, or
they're amazing.
I just heard the song, right?
Mm-hmm.
All around the mulberry bush. Da-da-da-da-da. Do you do anything with them? Your mulberry?
Oh yeah, you can do everything with them.
But
you can do
what
marmalade.
Do you do with them?
Just eat them. You can put them in other foods.
I'm picturing them. They're like tart or something. Are they?
No, not at all. They're very sweet.
Oh, interesting.
So what about a broccoli rice casserole? It's actually barberries. Okay, well, we're going to add mulberries this year. So what about a broccoli rice casserole?
That'd be all right. Broccoli and cheese. I like just straight up vegetables. If you had Brussels sprouts or what are the long green thingies? Asparagus.
Look at this.
Damn it, man! PB.
He's making our traditional Thanksgiving look so non-bougie.
So all right, here's something I was thinking of because this is one of the things I like about going to my parents for Thanksgiving, and it sounds very self-centered, is that most of the cooking is being done by somebody else who actually knows how to cook. So that's a bonus. But I've done a couple of Thanksgivings myself, I think, and what a pain in the ass. I mean, you spend because you got to start if you're doing brining the turkey, that starts the day before, and you prep some of the stuff that day, and you're cooking all damn, and you sit down and you're done in 20 minutes. Right?
Yeah, but you got bags under your eyes because you've been up since 4:30 in the morning getting the turkey in the oven because everybody wants to eat Thanksgiving at 2, so you got to get the thing in the oven by 6.
Right. And you're timing everything, and you're stressing: is it done? Is it not? And you spend all the time cooking the turkey. I sit down, and then 20 minutes, everybody's like, "Clean the table. Let's get the pie."
It's so true. But deviled eggs, that's one of those things where you start eating the deviled eggs around 10 in the morning, and you always want to make sure you make enough because you're going to be snacking on those the whole day. And then, of course, the repercussions to the gastronomy of deviled eggs.
Does anybody? So you guys are deviled egg people. Does anybody else? Any of the other barflies? Is this a Thanksgiving thing that I don't know about? Well, obviously, because P Beat there is with his $400 crab deviled eggs. But I could do that.
That does sound good though. If you put crab in, that might be very, very good.
What? Oh, will that bring? Do you like caviar?
I love caviar.
Yeah. So I've
Love.
seen deviled eggs, right, where you put some caviar on top.
Ooh.
I would like to try that, but I can't bring myself to, I've done a few caviar tastings, I'll let you know. And there is a major taste difference between the cheap stuff and the good stuff. And I can't bring myself to buy a tin of this, $90 or more caviar to mess around with. But I bet that would be. Mm.
Well, okay. So here's as long as we're talking about deviled eggs, paprika or no paprika on the top of the deviled eggs. And that when I say paprika, smoked paprika, I say yay.
I bet it would be better with. I make them rarely, so I don't even think about that.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Any holiday? It's a holiday thing, huh?
No, no, just about for any. Yeah, not just Turkey Day. We do them all the time. And then, actually, you can have fun with when you're mixing your eggs up for the filling for the deviled eggs. Put just a tad bit of horseradish in. It's wonderful.
Oh. So deviled eggs are one of those things like when you get the chips on your table at the Mexican place before your meal
Mm-hmm.
and you're never going to get full on these things. Deviled eggs, somehow you could eat like 15 of these things and you're not going to be somehow you can eat a dozen eggs worth, and if it's a cut in half made as a deviled egg, you can just keep going.
Oh yeah, they're wonderful. They're wonderful. I'm trying to think of some of the other side dishes that people do. So you got sweet potatoes, mashed potatoes,
Well, you got to have
Indian
rolls.
casserole,
You got to have some
rolls. Yes. Now the type of roll is important
Wait,
too.
what does P Beat have? Because it's probably some sourdough from a stock from Indonesia. Capers. Oh,
Oh, I never thought about it. Wait, whoa, wait a minute. We have never had capers on
oh,
deviled eggs.
she's holding. When you know what?
She's holding
When
out on me.
that's before at midnight, before the with the whipped top,
Oh,
she's
that's
getting the
right.
capers out and putting them on the leftover deviled eggs.
Actually, I'm gonna have to go to the store tomorrow. I think that would be great. I think capers on
Yeah.
deviled eggs would be wonderful. I never
Okay.
even thought about that, so we're gonna have to try that.
I got it. So let me ask you this. I haven't made, so we had Jerry on our show talking about
Mhm.
barbecuing and all this stuff, and he told us you could smoke eggs to make deviled eggs. So we both
Yes.
tried that, and very good idea, very good idea. But I hadn't made deviled eggs for probably over 10 years before that, and so I think my mixture was a little bit too thick and all that stuff. And then it just kind of got glooped on top. Do you just gloop it on top with a spoon, or do you doing the whole pastry bag thingy?
Well, it depends. I mean, preferably I like to do it with the pastry bag because presentation's part of it. But if you can't find the pastry bag or the the topping for that, yeah, it's a spoon. But spoons are messy.
Now this, I'm trying to now I'm trying to figure this capers. I can imagine what it would taste like. I
Well,
can't now.
it
So
just adds texture. The avocado just adds texture because the egg and the mustard and the mayonnaise and the vinegar, that's all going to cancel out the avocado tasting for the most part.
so
But I
then
think it adds a silkiness to it.
don't you run into a problem with volume then? The more stuff you add to it, you're going to have more of the mixture than you're going to have space to put it into.
That's what a spoon is for.
All
And
right.
the dog. And the dog.
All right. So here's P Beat's answer to what we would, go get the dinner rolls down at Safeway in the bag. He has Low Country sweet potato spoon bread.
Oh, wow, that sounds good too. You know, and
Man,
speaking of low country, uh, they also do a oh, what the heck? My brain just went for crawfish in the stuffing down south. So it'd be like a lobster stuffing, but little tiny pieces of
there you
crawfish.
go. I want to make deviled eggs now. I have to do that.
Yeah,
For the
did you guys ever have, or anybody in our lounge ever have a Grandy's, the restaurant Grandy's? It was kind of Southern cooking, chicken fried steak. But they had this lady would walk around. She was dressed in this old period costume, and she would have a plate of these rolls. And these rolls were amazing. You could just go and eat the rolls. That's how
yeah.
good they were. But
That's
we
one
usually,
thing. So I told you my mom, what her stuffing, she would mess around with different recipes every year. That was cool. She messed around with different recipes of the cranberry. That was cool. One year though, we had the flaky biscuits, where they got the different layers. That wasn't right. You got
no.
to have dinner roll stuff, right? With
Well,
it,
and
so you
if you
can
really,
swish it up in your gravy,
exactly,
potatoes.
exactly. And the rolls that you have to get, and I haven't seen them in a few years, are those ones that are about that big, and they have the three lines in the middle. The top gets a little bit crispy, but the rest is just buttery. I haven't seen those in a while because we usually
No,
go down now and just like you said, Safeway, we grab the Hawaiian, the Hawaiian bag of
you get the
rolls.
Hawaiian rolls
Sometimes we have, yeah, sometimes we
with
have.
turkey though.
Yeah,
That would be
it's not bad.
no.
It's not bad.
All right.
So those are the sides. Is there anybody else that has any other sides that we have not heard of that are traditional for you? If not, then we got to move to the desserts.
We gotta move to. Well, wait, we're still eating. Do you now? You guys are not big wine people, from what I know in your house. But will you bust out a bottle of wine for Thanksgiving?
Sometimes yes, sometimes no. I'm not a big white wine drinker, and sometimes I think like your Cabs, your Merlots, your Shiraz are a little too heavy for a turkey meal. So
Mm.
sometimes, yeah. When I was growing up, yes, my dad would always have Blue Nun Leaf Milch for the wine. That's my dad and
Blue
his
Nun.
brother. Blue Nun.
All
Mhm.
right.
Yeah,
Haven't
it's like
heard of
a
that one, Dave.
oh, it's like a $2.99 bottle of wine. It's like one of those. You could also power your car, or your lawnmower with it.
Right on. So the oyster stuffing.
Oyster stuffing is good.
Yeah.
It's good. So let's talk about desserts. Traditional, what we usually have. Everybody's got a pumpkin pie, but we usually have a cream pie of some type, like coconut cream or apple. Of course,
I
an
was gonna
apple
say
pie.
coconut tree. That's not too traditional. That's a little
No,
edgy
but
for
it's
Thanksgiving.
delicious. But we'll have an apple pie, maybe a blueberry pie, a cherry pie, um, stuff like that.
Wow, you're all over the map with those things.
Because I don't
Yeah.
eat. Usually, I don't eat. I don't eat the. Like I said, I don't like eat the pumpkin pie at all. And I'll have
What
maybe a
about the?
smoky
What
side.
about? Come on. So the two traditionals are pumpkin and pecan.
Yes, yes. We. It's funny. Yeah, I'm sorry I missed that. In fact, where we're going this year, she makes a homemade from scratch
Yeah.
bourbon pecan pie, and it's just
Woo!
unbelievable. It's really, really
Yes.
good. But the problem is, I can have one bite of pecan pie, and my glucose monitor says, "Screw you, I'm leaving," and jumps
Yeah.
off my arm. That's the only
Now, have
problem.
you tried whipped cream on the pecan pie?
Oh yes, of course, it's got to
Oh,
have it. It's got to have it.
that's a sugar
Yeah,
bomb. That's delicious right there.
yeah.
Yeah.
It's but I think what happens is you start. Since I became diabetic, you start adjusting and using stevia or one of the other sweeteners in place of the sugar, and it actually does okay. I mean,
Yeah.
it
You know what I was just thinking of, though you don't hear of a side, but used to probably be traditional is the Jello. When you were
wow.
growing up, did you have Jello on Thanksgiving?
Yes, yes.
Yes.
Well, it would be a Jello mold with something in it.
Yes.
Marshmallows or carrot. I never understood
The
the
carrots
orange,
and
the
the
carrots. I never understood that. I just
ambrosia salad.
yes, yes. And that had what? That had the marshmallows. It had nuts in it. It was kind of a mayonnaise and a whipped cream type salad, wasn't
Was
it?
it? I thought it was just like cool. Again, the Cool Whip with canned diced fruit
Yeah,
is how I grew up.
right.
And you'd want it kind of fresh because after the meal, because you've got the canned fruit that has the juices and stuff, even though you drained it out, it would kind of start getting a little bit liquidy in the bottom.
Mhm.
And
Well,
you know,
this isn't a traditional Thanksgiving thing. Like I love this. Real simple. Ugh.
I didn't say that was the good part. I'm just saying that's the memory that.
Well, we have a Jello salad that my mom used to make that we make year round, and it's really not traditional for Thanksgiving. But I'll give you the quick rundown. It's orange or preferably apricot Jello, but you can't find apricot Jello hardly anywhere anymore. And you mix the Jello up, and then you put canned pineapple in the Jello while it's setting up. Now, once it sets up, you mix it all up, and then you put it in a 9x9 tray, or in our case, a half-acre tray. And then you take Cool Whip, and this is the one time we do use Cool Whip and vanilla pudding, and mix that together. And then you spread that on the top, and you top it with walnuts. And we'll eat an acre of that stuff. It's so good. It's refreshing.
You know what? Because our conversation does like this, Jello makes me remember about Jello jigglers. Remember, you used to make Jello and use less water or something so you could cut it and pick it up with your fingers and eat it?
No.
No?
No.
You know that wasn't a thing. I mean, that was not a Thanksgiving thing, but like when I was a kid, that was a big thing. Jello jigglers, and you could use cookie cutters to cut out different shapes, and they don't do that anymore.
Well, that's, and actually Pantea brings up a good point. Custard on top. I remember when people used to bring custard pies, and those are really delicious.
Yeah.
Now, I do remember Jello shots. Those I remember, but that's a show. That's for a different.
We didn't do that in grade school. Surprisingly enough. Did you see Did you see P Beat here though? Again with his bougie pumpkin pie with pecans, and bourbon. He mixes the two. Mixes the pumpkin and pecan.
Now I would be willing to try that. So I'm assuming PB, you're talking about you take the filling for the pumpkin pie, mix pecans in it, and then put bourbon in it, and then let it set or bake. That might be worthwhile, because I know people have done a chocolate pumpkin pie. So they mix a little bit of chocolate into the pumpkin. Since the whole pumpkin spice thing took over the world, pumpkin just doesn't do it for me anymore.
Yeah, my mom did a chocolate pecan pie too. One time somehow, I don't remember if it was a layer or kind of mixed in, but again, some of these things you just got to do traditional and do it the best you can.
But I would be interested to see what Spider and Amber do as a non-traditional Thanksgiving. Is there a food or a side dish that is specific to Amber's and Spider's table?
They have a pitcher of hot sauce instead of gravy. It's just.
Well, what's wrong with that? There's nothing wrong with that. Well, I found out today that paprika, from what this, of course it was on the internet, so it's got to be true, that basically paprika is dried bell peppers crushed up.
That's it?
That's what it said, and I don't know whether that's true. If anybody has validation to that, I would like to know that, because unfortunately that changes paprika for me, because paprika to me is this mystical, it's like frankincense and myrrh. It's this mystical spice that's just wonderful, especially smoked paprika.
Yeah, well, then pretend you never saw it.
Okay, I'll do that. So let's hear from you guys out in the bar. What kind of things are your favorites? See, this is where PB just throws me totally off base. Is he comes up with all this wonderful chef-related stuff, and then he says, some chain restaurants make good Thanksgiving. Bob Evans.
You can't, so like I said, either we're with my parents or it's a pretty toned down Thanksgiving. So one year, my wife and I were alone for Thanksgiving. So we went to Tahoe and thought, well, let's go and just have a trip away. And so we went to a nice hotel restaurant that had I think it was a buffet. I can't remember buffet or not, but it was just weird being in a restaurant on Thanksgiving. That was the only time I think I've ever been in a restaurant on Thanksgiving, and it just felt odd.
Well, up here, we've got a fairly, a lot of retirement folks, and so a lot of the resorts will do like a Thanksgiving buffet. And it's like, 50, $60 a person, and you've got turkey, prime rib, seafood, and the whole spread. And we've thought about doing that. Yes, thank you, Pantea, for validating that for me. But the thing is, it's so, to me, it's so impersonal. Now, as we get older, family goes away. Like we go to our friend's house because they invite us and they have all their family there. But sometimes it's hard because you think, okay, you're being invited as a guest. They think that you're part of the family. But at the same time, it's not like when we were kids, when you'd have this, like you said, this big table with everybody all the way around it. So I think it's evolved over time. And we, last year, I think it was either last year or the year before, we stayed home for Thanksgiving. It was just her and I, and we went through the whole smash. And 2 days ago, I was going through our freezer, and I pulled out a bag that said Thanksgiving turkey, November 22. And I'm like, no, we're not going to cook another turkey because this is frozen. So we don't ever eat it all,
Yeah.
So,
Well, yeah, I think I would rather just be at home, even if it's just the two of us, than be out somewhere like that again. And the same thing with like Christmas. We've talked about like once the kids are gone, doing like a cruise during Christmas, or you see these beautiful hotels like in the Rockies or in Canada where you look over the snow and how gorgeous and beautiful it'd be. But it'd just be, I can't get past thinking about being like in a hotel room when you wake up Christmas morning, right?
well, we've had friends that have done that, and we've considered it. In fact, but the problem is my feeling about Christmas. I know this is about Thanksgiving, but about Christmas is that it's snowing, you've got pine trees, you're in a log cabin, you've got a 12-foot tree sitting in this big picture window as it's snowing, and you wake up Christmas morning and the snow has got no footprints in it, and everybody's by a big roaring fire. And so we started looking at, okay, well, let's go to Colorado, or let's go up in the mountains here and rent a cabin, and it'll be wonderful, blah, blah, blah. And then the hammer comes down, and so where, to me, a pine tree with snow is my idea of Christmas. My better half's idea of Christmas is the ocean lapping on a beach and the palm trees swaying. So
Boy,
we've considered,
yeah.
we've actually considered going to Hawaii for Christmas once, because I hear it's a blast, but I also hear that's a very high season where everybody brings their kids to it.
Yeah, here you go.
So
We did think about that this year before we had everything set. But I'll tell you, Dave, you mentioned, your nice restaurants are $50 there. Let me tell you, San Francisco, it is not $50.
Really, $100 minimum, probably.
Over, yeah.
Well, and it's funny, and there is something that we are considering. Well, I'm considering, and I haven't convinced her yet. But next year for Christmas, they have a river cruise that goes through Bern and then comes down during winter, and you go to all the different European Christmas markets.
Yes.
Now, see, that I would like to do.
Yes.
But the problem is, I would have to wrap Sharon up like, the kid on Christmas Story.
Like the Michelin tire.
Now, if there was a Hawaiian Christmas market, Sharon would be all over it.
All right. I don't believe PB ever did that. I think he's throwing us a curveball here with the Swanson TV dinner in a snowstorm. I don't think he's done that on a Thanksgiving.
But if you notice about that original Swanson dinner in the aluminum, of course, because you had to put it in the oven.
Right, and peel back the foil.
Yes, but the peas that came in that, because you had the turkey on top, a little slice of turkey, the stuffing on the bottom, then you usually had a brownie or an apple cobbler in one of the squares, but then you had the peas, and the peas were a color of green that does not exist in nature, but you still ate it.
Well, and they were either perfectly round and hard or shriveled up like a raisin, right?
Yeah, you could put them in a slingshot and take out a rabbit.
Here you go. Yeah, we're gonna. I know. We'll do a Christmas episode, but yeah.
See,
I think we would love to do that cruise.
But see, here's the thing. Since Pantea said she's in, that might have some weight on on Sharon doing the Christmas, because I mean, think about it. You're in Europe. I mean, in the
Yeah.
Christmas markets. Oh man,
Yeah.
it would be
Well,
wonderful.
same thing. We would love to be in London around Christmas time and see it decorated up and do shopping and all that stuff.
Yeah, I mean, and well, of course, to see Mary Poppins and to see Dick Van Dyke, dancing around on the rooftops, that would be interesting.
Is that how it goes?
Yeah.
All right.
So, now, okay, finally, we've gotten through the meal, okay, and of course, now the tryptophan kicks in, and everybody sits down and watches what? Football. We're not big Thanksgiving Day football people. We don't watch it, but usually everybody just sits around and just jabbers.
Yeah.
Just talks and stuff. Some people will, go into that comatose mode for a nap and stuff like that. I know a lot of people will go to movies on Thanksgiving.
Yeah, I've never done that.
Either of we.
Yeah. But Chinese food's another big thing on Christmas for a lot of people, right?
Right. Well,
no, I guess that's Christmas. That's Christmas. A lot of people do Chinese food.
Right. Well, the classic Christmas Chinese is in the movie Christmas Story.
Yeah.
When they bring out the Peking duck and just whap. There's a good, we play rummy. We used to play cards or games and stuff like that when all the family. But when the family, like after my parents passed or my mom, after my mom passed, Sharon's family was all still around. You had the kids, and so you had the nieces, the nephews, the aunts, uncles. So it was always a big, big thing. And Sharon's favorite holiday has always been Thanksgiving, because where Christmas is my favorite holiday. Christmas, and we obviously know that Spider's favorite holiday. We know that already.
Right. Well, so we never did talk about the turkey. How do you cook your turkey, or how have you cooked your best turkey?
Well, I've never done a fried turkey. I've always wanted to, but after being in the insurance industry for so long, it's like, and I didn't realize this, but if you look at claims, the most dangerous day for fires in houses is Thanksgiving, because people will fry the turkey and they'll do it underneath their patio. Well, then they'll put a frozen turkey in it, and boom. Now I've had frozen. I mean, I've had a fried turkey before, and it is crisp, and it is really good. In fact, 2 years ago we went up to Utah, and had Thanksgiving with Chad and Megan and the kids and everything else, and they had a huge spread. Unfortunately, my wife had a real bad migraine, but they make sourdough rolls. They make sourdough rolls from a starter, from like 1850. But what Chad does is Chad actually splays the turkey out and smokes the turkey, and it was delicious. Wow. It was absolutely fantastic.
Yeah. Well, you know what we got? So Chad's the referee we had on our show, not that our first show on this channel,
right?
On our own channel. But he taught me. So I only made a few turkeys, and they were your traditional dry white meat and blah blah blah. Until, so maybe he's moved on, but for a while he used an air fryer outside.
Oh wow!
And swore by that. And so I got one of those and did the brine thing, and that was amazing.
Really?
I'll tell you, right. And it's it's incredible because you just drop your turkey down into this, and it's got double walls with the flames going in between the two walls and just radiating heat to your turkey, just hanging in the air there.
That's pretty interesting.
What's that? Yeah, we're gonna all invite ourselves to Chad's next year for Thanksgiving.
You know what? As cordial as Chad is, he'd have it, because Chad loves getting everybody together. And Chad, he introduced us to an after dinner drink called the Chad Hatton, and that's basically a Manhattan with walnut bitters. And we had a good time. I mean, it was a lot of fun. Unfortunately, I was told that the weather was going to be a little bit different than it was, and when we got into the hotel the next morning, it was snowing. But that's neither here nor there. I didn't last very long. But no, and the other thing is, if it's just me and Sharon, so To get a 10, 12 pound turkey and to go through all that, and then you got to clean the. So one year we actually did Cornish game hens,
Yeah.
and that was actually very, very good. It was quick, it was easy, and we still had all the traditional side dishes and so forth. But no, I think if as long as you get together with family and or friends, I think that especially in today's world with everything just going crazy, I think it's that one 4 to 5 hour day that people can just kind of say, hey, we can have a good meal, break bread together and stuff like that. And I think that, I think that's what it is. And I don't know, Thanksgiving is obviously very, very big here and the traditional stuff. But I know there's some people that do the same meal on Thanksgiving as they do on Christmas.
Yep.
And I know we're going to do a Christmas show. We can talk about that because there's a lot of times there's alternative. And that sounds really good.
But
Yeah, when we've done the turkey, we do it the same way. We put it in the oven for,
what's funny about all this is that, there's all sorts of theories, and you watch shows about 200 different ways to make a turkey, and they're about the right way to tie it up, and changing the temperature of your oven partway through, right, there's like all these people try to tweak it and stuff like that. If you go to like these fancy restaurants and stuff where they got to make a ton of turkeys, they're throwing them in the freaking oven
Mhm.
and just cooking them straight out for however long, and they come out juicy and all. So I've thought that's hilarious that, it's
Well,
a tradition.
speaking of let's talk about Thanksgiving disasters. Now, to me, the big Thanksgiving disaster is making the deviled eggs. Now, not mixing the egg mixture up and piping it into the half. It's hard boiling the eggs. I have tried 50 different recipes that you see, and they all start out the same way. Make these our way, and you'll just have the shell peel right off. Horse hockey. There's always a few that you sit there and you almost cut your thumb because you're trying to get them off. I've tried you boil them for a set, and then you put them in an ice bath, and they're
Right.
supposed to peel. No, it doesn't work. Then you add a little bit of vinegar in, and that'll help. So if anybody has a way to hard boil eggs that is flawless, please post it because I'll try
What's
it this
weird
year.
is I've never had a problem peeling my boiled eggs.
Okay, so let's hear how
I
you do it.
I just throw them in cold water, get
After
it to
you've
boiling,
boiled. Oh, okay. All right.
and boil them for like the 8 or 10 minutes, which is different because every recipe I look at, you boil the water and then turn it off and let them sit, right? I
Right.
keep
That's
it boiling the whole darn time,
okay.
and then I just keep running cold water into the pot when it's over. I don't worry about that ice bath thing.
Hmm.
And then you just crack them all the way around, and they just peel right off.
Really? Now you
Uh,
don't use fresh eggs, though, correct? Or do
just
you
from the
use fresh
store.
eggs? Well, no. What I'm saying, but do you buy them a few days in advance? Because I've always heard that if you buy eggs that are too fresh, that
Well,
they're
I don't know.
harder to
By the
cook.
time they get to Safeway, I assume they're already a few days old. I don't go to
Right.
the farm or
Well, I'll
anything.
have to try that this year because that to me is the most because again,
Interesting.
it's all about presentation.
Hmm.
And if you're going to take eggs to a party or something like that, you don't want the outside of the egg to look like it'd been
Right.
gnawed on by a badger. You just
Right.
don't want that. So
Yeah.
that's
And
that's a
if
first
you're
world
eating
problem.
all your rejects, you're going to be full then when you get there.
Right, right. Because we're making 3 dozen this year.
Wow.
And so that's what going to be 36 eggs, so 72 halves. And we're going to do a dozen of them smoked, just in case somebody doesn't like them. And then half of them will have paprika because a certain individual doesn't like paprika.
It's just pepper, Dave. It's just red peppers.
Well, you tell her that because, no, no. And, like I said, that comes down to who makes the best deviled eggs.
Well,
And this is a
capers. Try the capers this year.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, we'll have to do the capers.
Oh, here's your presentation, buddy. You use a pastry bag to put it in
Mhm.
there. 1 caper and 2 little sprigs of chives.
Oh, there you go.
Huh?
But
That'd be
what
gorgeous.
about the paprika? Yeah.
I'm trying to make everybody happy, Dave. You put a shaker of paprika on the side.
There you go. There
You
you
can
go.
add your
Well, because where we're going, one of the people, one of our friends, he is a self-proclaimed um, deviled egg fanatic. So that's why we're making 3 dozen, because we know a dozen of them will go into his mouth as soon as we walk in the door.
You know what? Which loops us right back around to my complaint about how much beds cost. Because if you order deviled eggs in a restaurant, you end up getting like 4 halves for $15. That's the
That
most frustrating thing to get in a restaurant.
that's true, but this is something we didn't talk about. Hey, we can kind of close everything out with this. So PB brings up, what kind of snacks do you have laying around before and after dinner? Saltwater taffy and pecan rolls. Wow.
So for first of all, would you consider saltwater taffy a snack that you just have laying around?
No, I like saltwater taffy, but no.
Yeah, and then what's a pecan roll? Oh,
You know,
sweet roll. Is he
Yeah,
talking
like a
like
sweet
that?
roll. Pecan sweet
That's a
roll.
pretty big snack, buddy. Is
We
that because we're not eating till like 3 o'clock and you're not having lunch, and so you kind of need a
Oh, and then the traditional, you have to have this round tray that has black olives,
oh yes,
sweet pickles.
yes,
What else? What else? What else?
dill pickles, the
Dill
little
pickles.
tiny ones.
And what else? There's something else that I'm missing. You have to have
For us,
that
it was
relish
just those
tray.
3. And if you're a kid, you have to put a black olive on each finger.
Oh, of course. Of
Yeah.
course. That's like during Halloween when you take the candy corn and stick it in your mouth and become Dracula. You have to do that. But yeah, I mean, I think that's the part of of Thanksgiving that little tiny things. Because when else during the year do you have a tray that has black olives, sweet pickles, and dill pickles? Never.
All right. So I know PB won't invite us over, but I think I'd like to spend the weekend at his house. And just because I could imagine like breakfast at his house would be like an omelet
Mimosas.
that's just with mimosas, but he would have diced chives on the top of his omelets with some kind of a creme fraiche
And
and a
caviar.
fresh fish inside.
It would be caviar and creme fraiche in an omelet.
And fresh squeezed orange juice.
Of course.
Flown in, the oranges would be flown in from Florida,
Right.
from a
Instead of us,
specific orchard.
yeah, instead of us
Yeah.
with an egg McMuffin and you know,
you know what, buddy? Those are amazing.
I like the maple,
Really?
what do they call it?
The little
Yeah.
pancakey things?
Oh yeah.
Oh, those
But I
are a
mean,
little weird tasting to me.
biscuits and gravy. There you go. That's one thing that Tig Lily is that's her specialty.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. Oh
Wait,
yeah,
does she
it's
make the
spicy.
biscuits
No, we usually use toast, believe it or not.
with gravy on? Isn't that SOS?
No, SOS is chipped beef and
Pretty
toast.
close. Pretty close.
Um,
Yeah.
But yeah, and actually, you know what? Speaking of spicy, when Spider said gherkins, there is a couple of places that make spicy pickles, and they are
Yeah.
so good.
That's the funniest thing
Okay,
ever.
that wins as comment of the evening.
He's like Googling all this stuff.
Oh, that's beautiful.
Oh, gosh.
But I think that like I said, food, and and if you go back through all of our shows, food has always been the kind of the denominator that we end up with, because it's
We're simple people, man.
yeah
Yeah.
exactly. Bush beans on toast. Oh yeah, beans on
No,
toast. That's
can I
British.
tell you
British,
that
British,
was
British, British.
that was the most disappointing thing when we went to England for the first time, and I had the traditional English breakfast, right, that you
Beans
hear
on
all
toast.
about, and the beans are just baked beans. They taste just like our baked beans, which is the nastiest thing for breakfast. I don't know how they do that.
Well, talking about nasty things that include beans, and I think we've talked about this before. One of my favorite breakfasts is scrambled eggs infused with refried beans, Spider's Killer hot sauce, and tortillas. Oh, it's so good. You just take the
That would
tortilla
be
and you
bad.
scoop.
Hey, Spider, do you put hot sauce in your deviled eggs? He didn't mention that, and that kind of
No,
I'm
he
thinking
didn't.
about that surprises me. He doesn't add a little heat to it. Awesome.
That's hilarious.
Oh,
Okay,
we're gonna
Spider,
get him in
tell us.
trouble.
Do you put hot sauce in your deviled eggs?
Yeah, let's get the answer to that, and then I think we could probably
Yes, unless they
wrap this
left
baby
already.
up. So yeah, this is true. We shouldn't have any enjoyment. Everything is
But see,
bland.
how can the British have breakfast like that, but yet come up with some of the most wonderful fragrances on the planet? I guess it's a division of labor, maybe.
I guess that's an interesting topic.
Yeah, but it'd be interesting. Hopefully, if they've already left, that they can tell us next week. They can tell us whether they put hot sauce
Yeah.
on their.
All right, buddy.
Well, that's it, folks. Well, hey, thank you so much. I hope everybody has a safe and joyous Thanksgiving holiday with your family and friends. Know that we'll be thinking about you through all that. And Dave, I hope you and Pantea have, and her family, and your family have an absolutely stupendous. Oh, there he is.
There you go.
No, but a couple of drops would be tasty.
Yep. You as well. As always, thanks to the barflies, you make this much more enjoyable than it would be if it was just Dave and I.
Well, we have fun.
We do know, but this is the best part of it.
It is. So anyhow, guys, join us. Happy Thanksgiving once again to everybody. We love you all, and we will see you again next Tuesday at 7 p.m. Say goodnight, Dave.
Night, Dave.
Happy Thanksgiving, everybody.
Peace.